Aloha, everyone. Michelle Melendez with Blossom Inner Wellness and Stand Together, Hawaii.com. And I got some really good news because many of us went and spoke at the Windward Planning Commission on the general plan for Hawaii Island 2045. And I've been asking people to come and speak. And I just want to say so much mahalo for those of you who came out to support and who spoke up. There were many of us live, many of us on Zoom. And I just have to say big mahalo because we are totally making some waves and making some movement with our progress. And I want to show you some testimonies that went down last night. Pastor Kevin spoke. He was super eloquent and really, he was amazing. And then there was this one woman on Zoom that nailed it. Her video didn't work, but she nailed it. So I'm going to show you those. And then I'm going to show you the Planning Commission asking the state planning general plan manager a question about climate change and where they got their research. And you are going to love the answer that she gave because I loved it. I was like, oh my gosh. So here we go. Now I'm a little bit of a spaz. I'm going to show you my testimony. I'm not as eloquent as Pastor Kevin because you guys know I get a little bit fiery. But anyway, here we go. Oh wait, that's right. That's right. That's right. Okay, good. Let me close this out. All right, so this is my testimony first, and here we go.
So the Leeward Planning Department wanted to change the name climate change to get more people on board with all the rules and regulations that are under that section. And in so doing that, it would change the exact reason for those regulations. They also wanted to say, they also wanted somebody from the Hawaii University to show how there is climate change. In that meeting, I showed them 1960 credentialed scientists from around the world that signed a declaration that there's no climate danger. Climate change happens every day. The founder of the Weather Channel, no climate danger. The 50-year meteorologist for the US Navy actually showed the Milankovitch cycle that showed the Earth was 800 years closer to the sun. 800 years ago is closer to the sun, and we're cooling. The National Medicine website, and I'll send you guys the link, also states the Earth is cooling. This whole idea that we have climate danger, that the sea levels are rising, Al Gore's his film about documenting the changes of the Earth actually was in the British judge actually found 9 errors in that movie, and one of them was the fact that Kilimanjaro is not melting the way that they say that they are. But you guys, there's so many things in this plan that are because of the word climate change. This conservation, what local would want to have their property value dropped? They already have sent locals letters saying they're going to change residential to recreation. That's going to drop their property value. She says they're not rezoning. They are setting it up for rezoning. I want to know what local would actually want that, to say, oh yeah. And then not only that, but they actually have in this plan where the planning department can actually make a list of people's property that they might want to acquire. Okay, I don't know what property owner or a local said, yeah, that's okay. Please put my property on a list where you guys can possibly acquire it later. And then the last person in the last meeting said, oh, this is a willing thing. They'll be willing to acquire the land. When does the government willingly acquire land? I mean, I could go into the Queen Liliuokalani and her abdication of the throne. I mean, there's so many things around this. The electric vehicles, please don't bring those to the Big Island. They are a fire hazard. This person in the mainland had an electric vehicle in her car. It caught on fire. It takes 2 hours for that thing to go out. The home burned. Not only that, but these cars, you can't recycle these batteries. These batteries are toxic. If these batteries in the electric cars go into the landfill and they break, toxic fumes will be emitted. That is not a conspiracy theory. That is a fact. How in the world is our buses going to run on electricity? Our diesel is going to run on electricity. What about the grid? And how much power is it going to take to have everybody have an electric car? The electricity bill is going to go up.
3 minutes. Thank you for your testimony.
It's already too much. Please don't bring these cars in. It's dangerous for Big Island, big time.
Thank you for your testimony. Commissioners, do we have any questions for the testifier?
They did not have any questions for me, so that's mine. Let me go to Pastor Kevin, who just So eloquent and super appreciated his presence there. And he's on the right, and this is Auntie Calais on the left, and I'll show you hers too. But this is Pastor Kevin. Thank you, Pastor Kevin,
And
for
I'll
being
let you know
there.
when you have 30 seconds remaining. Please introduce yourself and let us know the town that you reside in before you start.
Excellent. Yeah, my name is Kevin Hill. I'm in Hakalau as well. And I just had a question, if I could, before. Like, there's been a couple questions that previous testifier asked about the CDP for Hilo. And then the council was asked if they had questions for him, but he was asking a direct question. Like, it's really important to us. I mean, I work in Hilo. My wife works in Hilo, right? We're in Hilo every day. I think it's just really enormous that Hilo have a say. So this is my opinion, just related to him, just a question. Who answers that question? I mean,
So just so you guys know, they don't answer questions. You got 3 minutes. That's it. If you ask a question, they're just going to sit there and stare at you. But he gets going in a second here, and it's beautiful.
where does that question get answered? It's just like,
And he's also talking about I'll just stop the share really quick. He's also talking about the fact that Hilo doesn't have a community development plan. They do have a community development plan, and it was created in 1975. And it's never been renewed. It's never been updated. All of the other areas on the whole entire Big Island have an updated community development plan except for Hilo. And Hilo is 22% of the Big Island. It's the second largest town on the Big Island, and it does not have a community development plan. And there's this huge general plan 2045 that is the apex of everything that will happen on the Big Island, all of the zoning, the rezoning, everything this general plan is the umbrella of what will happen for the next 20 years on Big Island. And the second largest town does not have a community development plan. And a lot of people are saying this plan cannot go through without that. So I absolutely believe that, as well as this plan can't go through anyway because of the falsity of the foundation of the general plan, which you're going to learn about in a second. It's so great. Okay, here we go back to Kevin.
okay, so it's
You-
testimony, but
You have 3 minutes. The commission will not be answering questions today.
Mm.
You can speak afterwards to the planning director.
okay, if I may, I'd like to talk to the planning director afterwards. Okay, so thank you. I don't know if I still get to reset my 3 minutes, but my testimony is regarding to the comment that was made before about the idea of climate change. So my philosophy, my perspective on the plan, and I think it's a great presentation. I think April does a great job. And I know there's an enormous amount of work that's gone into that, so I appreciate all that. But in my opinion, that if there's a fundamental flaw philosophically about the plan, that's systemic all throughout the plan, and we don't stop and address it, then the whole plan is flawed. And in my opinion, climate change conversation has to get talked through, because we don't all mean the same thing when we say climate change. One, I think the name itself is ridiculous, because of course it's right? It gets warmer, it gets colder. Like, how can you be a denier of climate change? What's meant by climate change is that mankind is the cause of all of it, because of what we exhale and because of what we drive and a few other things, right? And that presumption is the fundamental issue with climate change. And then it comes into the conversation about sustainability and how we do zoning and how we do everything else, permitting, everything else. This plan is the most important document for our next 20 years, and we got to get it right. And there's huge information out there that says that there's almost like a cult in this climate change that ignores true science. They ignore the fact that solar activity has the number one impact on climate change is solar activity. One of the other presenters talked about it, right? It's enormous. It's totally eliminated from their formulas. The second thing that's eliminated, isn't considered, is man is messing with the weather. I read a document today from the professor at University of Zurich who said virtually every country is modifying the weather. And we don't even talk about it seriously like it's a real deal. Like what's going on in North Carolina, what went on in Maui, what's going on in other parts of the world, that it's like man is majorly dicking with the weather. And if we don't take that into consideration, we just say, oh, it's all climate change, see? And we don't evaluate how much weather modification is going on. 2 sites that I really encourage you to investigate. Geoengineeringwatch.org does an amazing job. Scientific case studies, documentation, even a documentary, 2-hour documentary done in 2021 called The Dimming. Great documentary. The other one is called weathermodificationhistory.org, or .com, I think, weathermodificationhistory.com. That guy does an amazing job. Engineering guy comes in here, he's got soil samples, air samples, like he does an amazing job. To deny that man is a lot of what's going on in many of our major traumatic, devastating weather issues that
You
we've
have
been
30
dealing with in
seconds
our
remaining.
country and throughout the world is really ignorant at this point. We've got to look at it. And I believe that if we're basing this plan on a fundamental issue, it's systemic throughout it. And we got to stop and look at its truth. If I'm taking an oath to tell the truth and the plan is saying something else, one of us has got to change. That's your job. You're the judiciary, right? Like the truth is out there and then you got to discern what really is the truth. If what I'm saying is true, then the fundamental basis of the plan has to be addressed. And my request is we just back the truck up,
Your
look
3
at it and
minutes are
do a
finished.
Hilo CDP as well as a part of that process. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for your testimony.
It was so good, you guys. Actually, let me show you. He gets a clap. He gets an audio. People start clapping. I start clapping.
We try to discourage public applause. Okay, thank you.
We were all clapping for him because he was like on it. He was on it. And here's Auntie Calais.
Commissioners, do we have any questions?
Please ask me a question.
Okay.
He's all please ask me
All
a
right,
question.
we'll move on to the
I love that. Pastor Kevin, I love that. That testimony is my favorite.
next testimony. Testifier. Thank you, sir.
Aloha, my name is Kale Kaili Kini. I represent myself and my family, and I live in Hilo. So my testimony again will be regarding climate change. And just to bring that up, because in the plan you have it, climate adaptation, you have climate change, you have climate change impacts, climate change mitigation, climate resilience. And it also mentions human-induced climate change is resulting in global warming. So now to do the plan exactly, we understand to get something to be successful or to do it right, we need to know everything having to do with the weather. And again, I say to you that the weather machines and weather modifications started in the 1950s, right after World War II. So today it's 74 years old in development. 74 years old. I'm 76. Okay, so it's 2 years younger than I am. I attended the University of Alaska in Anchorage and Alaska Methodist University in Anchorage. And I worked for Elmendorf Air Force Base. I was working in their communications. And what I did learn is that they had a station erected for they were testing the weather technology. And it was invented by Nikola Tesla. And it was on Kona, Gakona. It struck me because of Ga, and then the word Kona. But it was a small little area where the Air Force put all these towers up. So this professor, and I knew of him, his name is Professor Nick Begich, Begich. His father was a state senator for many years from Anchorage. And he wrote the book, and the title is Angels Don't Play This Harp, HAARP. These are acronyms that signify and talk about this technology. It's crucial for all of you as commissioners to learn about this. Another weather modification was chemtrails. The US Air Force did the chemtrails. That's altering our weather, causing, if a tsunami hits, if earthquake happens, who are we going to blame? God? Man is messing with the weather today. And I want you to learn about this. I'm here as a teacher to teach you because it's your future, your children's future. It's not
You have
mine.
30 seconds left.
So I will end it because I know other people want to testify, but I do care about all of you. And I know your heart is in the right place. So just do the best that you can to learn more. Aloha, mahalo very much.
So the next one I'm going to share with you one more, and then I get to show you guys the amazing bomb that's dropped in this room by a commissioner asking where they get the research, where they got the research for the climate change reasoning for the foundation of this plan, and it's phenomenal. Okay, I'm going to 11950. All right, I'm going to start right here. This is our last testimony I'll share.
You know when 30 seconds are up. Please introduce
you.
yourself.
And this woman, she can't, her video didn't work. So she's on Zoom and I don't remember where she's at, but oh, she'll tell you right here. So she's on Zoom. We'll just hear her voice.
And state where you live.
Thank you. My name is Marion Gershot. I live in Nalehu. And I'm very concerned about this plan. I was thinking of the best ways to talk about this concern. So I wanted to open with a quote from Mr. Kern from September 23rd, 2023.
And she's quoting the last director of the planning department. He had a lot of controversy around his leadership. There were many articles in the paper about him supporting big development companies and not supporting the people. And so anyway, this is who she's quoting. He no longer is the director, and then another person was put in just this last week. So he's very newly out of the seat, but he was the director for the planning department.
Where he said, it isn't always obvious, but the general plan impacts most aspects of daily life. Most aspects of daily life. This is not your father's general plan. This is something that's been developed by the Office of Sustainability, Climate Equity and Resilience. Council Bill 48, introduced by Council Chair Kimball and Member Villegas, proposes the creation of an Office of Sustainability, Climate Equity and Resilience under the Office of the Managing Director. So this is a cabinet level office. This doesn't report to the planning office or the planning director. Maybe there's a dotted line, but the reporting structure is deliberate. In fact, Chair Kimball said that the elevation of this office to the cabinet level is intended to help ensure coordinated action, both internally and externally.
She's Chair Kimball is the chair for the Hawaii Big Island County Council. So that's where this plan is going to go after January and February. Then it goes to the county council, and she will be the chair for that. So she's kind of the head honcho chair lady for that.
Moreover, the bill also proposes the establishment of a climate action revolving fund. What makes this proposal unique is that the office's structure is based on the collective impact model, also known as the whole of government model, which is used to coordinate and amplify actions to result in the greatest impact.
You got to listen to what she's saying, because she kind of starts to go off, and it's pretty beautiful. I have to really applaud her.
This is connected to the Inflation Reduction Act. All of the funding is coming from the federal government. There's a lot of dancing around where the funding for all this stuff is going to come from. It was set up as a conduit to introduce climate change mitigation control and monitoring activities on the population of Hawaii Island. All of these greenhouse gas estimates, they don't take any, the military is
You
not
have
included in
30
any of
seconds
this.
left.
The trucks, the planes, the ships, the war games when everybody comes to the island. What about the volcanoes that are constantly spewing? The steam vents that are constantly spewing? The ocean that we're surrounded by, which is the largest carbon sink out there. It doesn't make any sense for Hawaii Island to be a national leader in climate change when we're up against, we are carbon. Everything that's on this island is carbon. It grows.
Your 3 minutes are up.
This is a
Thank you for
power
your
grab.
testimony.
And it was shocking to hear that you took a vote already.
Thank you.
to
Thank you for your
recommend it.
testimony.
I'd like to know when that vote was taken.
Please.
Because it wasn't at the last
Thank
meeting.
you. We're going to move on to the next testifier.
So they do stop her, and I just have to say she did a really good job in explaining where this came from. The thing is a lot of these commissioners don't understand the UN and what the UN actually is, but we're educating them, and they're totally seeing that we're not happy. Not one person in the last 10 times I have been to these meetings, I've been to numerous meetings all over the island speaking up against this, but not once have I seen anybody say, this is a great plan. Yes, I was one of the people that helped to support it. And not once. So now I want to go to I'm going to go to the commissioner asking the general plan manager where they got the research for climate change, and then I want to show you guys the map for Big Island and what things are going to be changing if this plan goes through, which my heart says it's not, because I do believe that these commissioners have the power to stop it. I believe that that somebody can I motion to stop this plan, however the language is. I second this motion, you know, maybe it gets stopped that way. I'm not sure, but I know that there's many ways that it can get stopped, but please come to standtogetherhawaii.com. Join us, join the email list, and come and speak at the next planning meeting. I believe it's December 16th. It'll be in Kona. So please come and speak because we need more people. We can't keep having the same people there. It is good to have the same people there and we speak on different things because we keep telling them, but new faces make us more powerful, more stronger. If you don't know what to say, it's simple as this is a bunch of BS. I didn't ask for my plan for people's property to be devalued and change from residential to recreation. It immediately devalues their property when they go to sell it or will it to their children. It can be as simple as that. And then you're pow, you're done. So please have the courage, find the courage within your heart to come and speak up, because if you live on this island, this is going to affect you and your keiki. And the other thing that one of the other people were talking about was the fact that in this plan, it states that they want the health department to come and regulate water catchment. Can you imagine the health department coming out to your property when you live off grid and they start to regulate water, your water that you're using from water catchment? And they start to test it and maybe even say how much you can have or not. I'm not sure, but they want to regulate it through the health department. If you live off grid and you don't want that, you need to come and speak out, friend. So this next part's my favorite part. It's pretty hilarious. Okay, 135, 12, 135, 135, 12. Go right here.
Most of the testimony tonight has been about climate change. So that seems to be the big topic. It is in the plan quite a bit. But it seems like a lot of people have a lot of concerns about this. What type of, I guess my question would be, what type of research did we do, on climate change?
He's asking the general plan manager, and she's asking her assistant, and they're talking between themselves. They're not talking in the mic yet. So that's what's happening now. I'm on the far left. You can just see my nose. The guy next to the guy in the white hair. But we're talking to each other. We're like, yeah, what are they going to say? This is going to be good.
So I'd have to pull up our resources for that particular section, and Bethany Morrison, who was here with you last time, is our resident expert in this particular arena. But I do know that we referenced and utilized a good amount of information that came through the state and HRS, as well as a lot of other local organizations that are related and address climate change and energy efficiency and other things related to being a more resilient island. We also have created the climate action plan. So that was done as part of this general plan process. So the research and information and outreach that was involved in that particular plan has come in to this work that is included in the general plan. So there's been a lot of work that's done and a lot of research that's gone into this.
Thank you.
From the state. And I wonder about those organizations on Big Island that she said supported her. I wonder what their investments are. Are they invested in renewable energy? Are they invested in the things that the climate change will allow them to support people because of the climate change foundation? That's very, I'm curious about that. So I did want to share. So let me see if he says anything else here. Can't remember.
Chair.
Yes.
April, maybe there's a few questions that came up tonight that if we can kind of touch upon them, that
Sure.
might help. One
Sure.
of the testifiers, Brian, had talked about, you know, the amount, I mean, unfortunately, some people aren't aware of the amount of work that went into this plan. And I know that we have resources that are available to the public that they are able to look at and see where these information regarding climate change came from. It has reports there. All of the information regarding the public input that came into this plan, which is voluminous. It is extensive. It's been going on for
9 years.
9 years. So this is not something that just started and we're just bringing it to the public at this time. If you could just identify some of those areas that maybe the public can see where they can get that information we had talked about
We
bringing
mean
that
share
up.
screen and show
Yeah.
where a lot of that information is
Yeah,
online.
that would be
Absolutely.
helpful.
I'm happy
Thank
to
you.
do that. I'm also happy to address some of the other questions that were raised from public testimony, if that's something that you all would want to hear.
So the thing is they have done, I mean, this plan has been extensive work. But here's the thing, not one of the people, they say they've had all of these workshops and that the public has come in and given their testimony on what they want. Not one person has come in and said, yeah, I'm the one that said I wanted this in the plan and they put it in the plan. Nobody in the last 10 times, 10 meetings, 10 commission meetings I've gone to, I think it's like 10 or close to 10, not one person has come up. So I get that this was a lot of work on their part, 9 years of work. 2005 started it. This is a complete 180 from the 2005 general plan that the draft that they were creating, and they started again in 2015. So I get they have a lot of time vested in this, but where's the research on this? And her number one thing was saying it's from the state. It's from the state. So that cracks me up. There's this other thing I want to show you. That is important, especially if you live on Big Island. This is from the National Library of Medicine. I found this, and this is dated August 4th, 2020. And this is the temperature, modern grand solar minimum. And I just want to say, because I said this in my testimony, I've never shared this online, but grand solar minimum will lead to terrestrial, this is Earth, cooling. So this is a whole documentary or a whole report on the solar changes and how and what if the earth is cooling or heating, which one. So I will leave this in the description. You guys can come look at all these charts. You can read this whole thing. This is from a very credentialed site. And what I want to read is the last part. The reduction of terrestrial temperature, that means earth temperature, during the next 30 years can have important implications for different parts of food, agriculture, blah, 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 and heating needs. This global cooling during the upcoming grand solar minimum between 2020 and 2053 can offset for 3 decades any signs of global warming and would require in turn government efforts to tackle problems with heat and food supplies. for the whole population. So one thing I know about, I believe the satanic people that run this government is they love to invert things. They love to invert things. I'm not doing that. He's doing that. And it's completely inverted. So I'm wondering, this is my guess right now, is are they saying it's global warming because it's global cooling? Because that's what not only does the, what is it? It's called from the National Library of Medicine on August 4th, 2020 report that the earth is cooling, but also Dr. David Dilley, 50 years as a meteorologist for the US Navy. He also worked for NOAA for a number of years. His resume is freaking long, and it's all about climate expertise. And he literally talks about the Milankovitch cycle, how the earth was closer to the sun 800 years ago, and we're now going into a cooling phase. And the other thing I wanted to share was the map, because this is something, if you live on Big Island, you got to see this thing. This map right here is the map of what they want to do. Everything in blue is conservation. April, who is the manager of the planning general plan, she said that, oh, that's just from the state. That's just from the state lands. Everything in blue is all state lands? No, I don't think so. Because the reason why I say that is because when you scroll in to the Hawaii for the Big Island, and you're looking at the blue, which again is all conservation. This conservation surrounds the entire Big Island. Let it come in for a second as it pops in here. So take a look at this here. And sorry, I got to share again. See this line, this blue line? That's conservation. So April said at the beginning, and I didn't show you guys that, but she said, oh, all the conservation is already what the state owns. This is bullshit, because this blue line is residential. Some of it's residential. I mean, look at all of this. This whole entire blue line goes around the whole entire island. And the word conservation inside this is the general plan. There's no definition for what conservation means, except community conservation areas are natural or modified ecosystems, including significant biodiversity, ecological services, and cultural values voluntarily conserved by local communities through, you guys are going to love this part, customary laws or other effective means. What are the other effective means? What is conservation lands going to be used for? It's not going to be used for farming. It's not going to be used for building. So what are they using? Most of the Big Island is going to be, from their plan, is going to be conservation. And it's absolutely unbelievable how much they want to use this. They've already, with the state having taken, the United States having taken Hawaii, as a military occupied territory, for them to turn it all into conservation, most of the island into conservation, is really concerning. The other thing really concerning is the fact that see this right here, I want to show you guys in Hilo, rural areas. Now Hilo is the second, this is Hilo here on this side. It's the second largest town, it's not a city, town on Big Island. And sorry, my computer's a bit slow today, but here we go. Look at the dark brown. This is Hilo. So high density urban, that's homes. It's like, that's Hilo town. High density urban. All right, cool. High density urban. Medium density urban right here. Low density urban, more housing, and then right behind them, rural. But look at this. This is a block here. This is here. I mean, what is rural? This is I think this is Wailuku, right in here. Yeah, Wailuku River is right here, and then these should be houses. I believe so. I'm not totally positive about that. And then back here is productive agriculture, which is good because this is the Hamakua Coast. But look at all this rural. They don't have a definition in the general plan for rural. What is rural? And then the dark green is natural. What are they going to use for natural? What's natural going to be? What natural here, this big old area? And she literally said that natural is basically they want to keep it the way it is. They want to keep it the exact way that it is now without touching it. So look at this. Papakeo up here, this is kind of close by me. There's rule right here. You can kind of see that dark brown underneath there. So I'm kind of concerned about that. But now I want to go over to Kona side and show you guys, look at all this blue that's in the middle of the island. And granted, that's mostly lava, lava, which is not really, you have to really do some work to live there. But look at this. This is, I believe this is Kona town right here. Oop, let me close that up. Halualoa, yep, Halualoa. Look at, this is Rule. These are houses right in here. I believe so. Let me scroll in a little bit closer. So all this dark brown is Rule. What does that mean? This is the Honoka'a National Historical Park. Let me see if I can find where Kona town is. And this is all light green, which is recreation. This is blue, which is conservation. More conservation here. Let me, Kohala. Sorry, you guys, I work on my, yes. Okay, yes, this is Kona town. That's Palani Road. I know where that's at. These are the resorts. Okay, yes, that's Royal Kona's right in here somewhere. So this is the town. Urban expansion. All right. This is rule. What is rule? What is it for? What is rule for? That's my concern. Here's, look at this is all rule. This is Palani. This is all Palani. And this is literally, I mean, there's nothing there, but then they don't want to do anything with natural. So it's very concerning because it looks like most of Big Island is going to be conservation or natural, which is not, they don't want anything. They don't want to be, there's no definition for that. There's no definition for that. There's no definition for rule. Yet this map is going to change the land use to rural, natural, and conservation. And it really doesn't tell us what that means, except for when it says, these communities, these voluntary, they will be run by voluntary conserved by local communities through customary laws and other effective means. That's concerning to me. It's very concerning to me. Okay, so I wanted to share that. Please join standtogetherhawaii.com if this plan is a concern to you. And if it's not, look at your own plan. Because the last thing I want to share is a Rosa Corey, who I've shared before, who kicks a lot of booty. And she is she's the one of the number one reasons why I even found this, besides somebody mentioning the planning departments. So I do want to pause here. Let me pause the recording and show you guys this. So I'm going to share one more thing with you. And this is Rosa Corey, and this is a couple minutes, but it's definitely worth it. Here we go.
For 30 years, I've worked for the California Department of Transportation. I'm a district branch chief, and I've just retired. I'm a litigation support person and an expert witness in land use and property valuation. And those years of analysis and litigation support prepared me for recognizing the planning revolution that was sweeping the nation, that I first noticed back in 2002. And in researching that, as well as in fighting a huge fraudulent redevelopment project in my city, where I was actually elected to the project area committee, and from sitting on that committee and doing research, I found that the whole project was fraudulent, and it's a long deal, but through researching that, I found the issues behind it, and they led to United Nations Agenda 21 Sustainable Development. Like one of your members said in his testimony in regards to House Bill 1634, I was a skeptic, and as well you should be. But in doing the research, I found that this really wasn't something that was a conspiracy theory. It's not a conspiracy theory, it's a conspiracy fact. And this information is fully documented. Everything that I'm going to be talking about today is a fact. And if I'm speculating or I'm giving my opinion on something, I'll tell you. Otherwise, everything I'm talking about is fully documented. So I know that as Americans, you're going to find yourselves deeply at odds with and completely concerned by the agenda for the 21st century. And that is what it's called by the United Nations and the world. It's not Catch-22, it's not Area 51, it's Agenda 21 because it is the agenda for the 21st century. That is what it's called by the United Nations. It's a blueprint. It is the action plan to inventory and control all land, all water, all minerals, all plants, all animals, all construction, all information, all energy, all means of production, and all human beings in the world. It is a totally comprehensive plan. Yes, it's we'll just do what we can with the.
I'll just stop there. That's what's going on with all of our planning departments, or most of them anyway. So look at your plan, look at your general plan. And those of on Big Island, again, thank you so much for those of you who are stepping up and coming in and speaking out. And it's time. It's time, everybody. We have 5 more chances, 1 more here in December, 2 in January, 2 in February, 3 in so 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 more chances to speak up. But we want to speak up now because it goes to the commissioners who have a chance to stop it. It's going to be harder to stop when it gets to the county council. And if you are someone on Big Island who supported this and worked on it, please let me know. Please let me know. Let's talk about this. I'd love to meet people who worked on this plan. And if you did work on it and the thing it's not what you wanted, I want to know about you too. So please join standtogetherhawaii.com. Shout out to the sponsor of my channel, and it is aceofcoins.com. If you want help with your taxes or eliminate your tax debt, buy Bitcoin tax-free, license your biometric data, your face, your image, or you just have questions, go to aceofcoins.com. Shout out to the Voice of Kona Radio who puts my shows on their channel. And if you're listening on the islands, much aloha, mahalo. I hope I get to meet you someday in person, give you a big aloha hug. And I would love to see you at these planning commission meetings. Please, please come. Even if you just come and sit in the audience, that shows support for the people speaking. That shows support for us. So much mahalo. Here we go. Great Spirit. Infinite consciousness of all things. This is such a game we came to play, and I know that I get fiery and passionate and intense, and I'm so grateful for that because you're guiding my heart to do what is right, not what is easy, but what is right. And I know that this feeling of guidance is in every single person on the planet, and each one of us is being guided to our kuleana to make this world a better place and to shine the light on what needs to be lit up, like this plan and where it came from. So Great Spirit, I just know that those who are in power to say, no, this plan will not go through because it is not the best for the Big Island and the people here, that it is stopped and that we do revise it. And I'm more than happy to be on that committee to do so, Great Spirit. And I just know that through your guidance and through the strength of each one of us that we come forward and we speak our truth. We do it with aloha and we do it through our power from you, Great Spirit. I know that that is done. And I know that everybody who's listening to this, that I ask that they have the tenacity and the courage to look at their own general plan, to see what is happening in their backyard, to see what is coming for them and for their children, their keiki in the future. So, Great Spirit, I know that this world is a better place. And I know that those who do not value human life and human freedom, that they are bound with the frequency and light of love, and they cannot do any more harm. Or their hearts are turned to do what is right, to see the truth of what is unfolding on the planet. I know it is done, Great Spirit, and so it is. Sending you so much aloha from the Big Island. And join standtogetherhawaii.com. Mahalo for subscribing, liking, and giving me a comment. It helps the algorithms of this platform. Aloha.